Hey guys, welcome to Shine Modest. Today we are going to be talking about the different aspects of modesty, why it's important, why I choose to be modest. At least you will be able to see my insight and what my channel kind of wants to portray and the message I want to get across as to the importance of modesty. So firstly, we're going to be starting off with the why of modesty, what we get our reasoning from, and what I base my modesty off of. And then we're going to be going into some pros and cons of modesty. Let's get into the video. Guys, we're getting into the why of modesty. Now, I get a lot of my convictions and morals from the Bible, and I will be giving you a couple scriptures as well as some personal insight as to why I choose to dress modest. So, starting off, why dress modestly? I'm going to start off with a scripture. That is 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 17 through 18. And it says, "Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing. I will receive you, and be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty." Now, you may be asking, where does modesty come into that? Well, this bases a personal opinion of mine, that, not everything is in the Bible, right? Not every rule is specifically put out for us to follow, but some things are open to interpretation and our own discernment. And this scripture inspires me to be different, right? That people can look at me and they don't have to talk to me to tell that I'm different. They can look at me and see. So this scripture talks about coming out and being separate from the world, and this can be lifestyle, this can be what you wear, what you eat, what you say, things that you do, places you go, but I think that can be interpreted into many different things, as well as clothing. I tend to take trends and tweak them into a modest fashion or my own style, and you can just tell that Pentecostals are different. Now, I'm using Pentecostals as an example because that's what I am, but you do not have to be Pentecostal or even Christian to dress modestly. Like I said, it is a way to be unique and a way to be different. So, number 2. I didn't know we were counting, but apparently we are. I've already referenced this a little bit, but it comes down to personal preference. You might not be comfortable showing a lot of skin. I'm going to give you a couple more scriptures, and then we're going to move on to the pros and cons. So one scripture I have as to why I dress modestly, obviously I am a Pentecostal, and we do heavily rely on the Bible. So 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 9 through 10 says, "I also want the women to dress modestly with decency and propriety, adorning themselves not with elaborate hairstyles, or gold or pearls or expensive clothing, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God." Now, this is the New International Version. This kind of breaks it down a little bit, kind of why we dress modestly, right? We are not here to show ourselves. We're not here to bring attention to ourselves. Our deeds should bring attention to God, right? This is what He gave me to look like, and I want to show that off in the best way possible. And this also represents why we do not wear jewelry. No gold, pearls. And it also mentions expensive clothing. Again, this is open to personal interpretation as to what you deem should or should not be worn, right? But this is kind of covers several bases as to the way I dress and the way I present myself. So another scripture I would like you to know that is kind of a reference as to modest dressing. 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 3 through 4. And this reads, "Beauty should not come from outward adornment such as elaborate hairstyles and wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight." This mentioned the fact that we don't wear jewelry, and it also mentions what I mentioned earlier about how your light should shine not by what you show off, but what your spirit shows off. And that is my take on that scripture. Okay, in the next portion of the video, guys, we're going to be getting into the pros and the cons. It's kind of funny, I have a lot more pros than cons, and you should let me know in the comments what your pros and cons on dressing modestly are. I'd love to know them. I'm going to do the pros first because there's a lot more than cons. A pro of dressing modestly is that you can wear it doing anything that you would like, whether it's from swimming, exercising, jumping. You can dress modestly, guys. And it's not something that should be like a hindrance to you in whatever you want to do. If you want to do it, you can do it while being dressed modestly. Another one is that it is a good way to express your personality through your fashion. Dressing modestly kind of forces you to get a little bit creative. It is an amazing way to express your personality, your outfit style, and all while being a little extra creative with your fashion. So another pro I think from dressing modestly is that it shows self-respect. Respect for your body, you're not flaunting it to the world, and you're covering yourself up, and you are able to look beautiful while you do it. And to me, that is such an important thing, and it impresses me every time I see somebody like this. And I think it is such an important thing for yourself to embrace as well. And last but not least, it is an amazing conversation starter. With a modest outfit, you might just meet somebody that's interested in fashion, and you could talk about it. And hey, I might be wrong, it might be a terrible conversation starter, but in my opinion, it is a very unique conversation starter in the way that you dress and where you get your clothes, because for me, I know sometimes it can be really difficult to find shirts that naturally have long sleeves, for example, that I do not have to layer. Now, getting into the keyword con, I literally could not think of anything but one con for this, and the only con I would say dressing modestly has to offer is that sometimes if you have to layer in the summer and you live somewhere in the hot south, anywhere in the hot south really, it can get a little bit warm in the summer if you have to layer. But a pro to that con is that it will protect your skin from a lot of skin damage from the sun. So if you guys think of any more cons that you've had from personal experience dressing modestly, let me know down in the comments. You might open my eyes to some different views on the dress style. You do not have to be Christian or religiously affiliated to dress modestly. It's a style preference, guys. I do have a religious background as to why I dress modestly, but other than that, I thoroughly do enjoy a modest dress style. I think it fits me and my personality type perfectly. That is all I have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little video explaining a little bit about why dress modest. I hope it might have given you a little insight, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!